So, the last session we have discussed the speaking tasks, and we mentioned that it has two types of tasks. The first one was the listen and repeat task, and the second one was the interview task. And then we introduced the listen and repeat, what it is, and what are the rubrics for scoring this specific task. And now we'll focus on the progressive difficulty. When we call progressive difficulty, it means the sentences that we need to listen and then repeat will be progressive in the difficulty level. It simply means that as we somehow go into the end of the task, the sentences would get harder, and this level will go on. It starts with basic ones. Simply, the first two sentences are usually the basic foundation level. Sentences 1 to 2, they're short, simple sentences, around 5 to 10 words, and it uses usually the basic vocabulary, straightforward structure, and it is the basic foundational level. And then when it somehow proceeds to questions or to sentences 3 to 4, so it will be the intermediate level, and it uses complex sentences with academic vocabulary. Around there are 12 to 15 words with multiple clauses, so it is the intermediate level. And it is also checking our ability to handle academic language. And the last one is the advanced level. Again, it is the sentences between 5 to 7. So this is ranging between 15 to 22 words, or often more than that. And it is all academic advanced sentences. And usually this type of difficulty in listen and repeat includes subordinate clauses and specialized terminologies. So this is the progressive difficulty that we may face in listen and repeat task. Now, the next thing is what's scored? What is scored? Although we have introduced what are important things, but basically, let's get into a specific percentage of what will be scored and how important is the task. So, first of all, the pronunciation is part of around 40% of our score. It means how we pronounce. Are we pronouncing the word accurately as it's said in the listening, in that specific sentence which we listen? Is it accurately stating the same word or not? Okay, so here the individual sound accuracy is the key thing. So the individual sound accuracy, the word stress patterns, especially with the intonation that we have, so it's clearly important. Then how we connect speech and linking words, the words that they include transition signals. We have the sentences that they have specific discourse markers, or the words that again connect the sentences and chunks of words. Then how we pronounce the vowels and consonant precision, how accurately we pronounce them. So the first 40% of your scores all depend on pronunciation. The next 30% is part of the fluency. Fluency, it means how smooth you repeat the idea, continuous delivery without having long pauses. So here we have to work on pauses. Appropriate pacing, speed. It should not be too fast. That kind of removes the intelligibility, but it should be appropriate. Neither too fast or too slow. Okay, so it should have appropriate pacing, appropriate speed. Minimal hesitation. We should not hesitate when we pronounce those sentences. So hesitation is kind of using the words like so they're murmuring words, so we should avoid using them. Natural rhythm of the sentence. Again, when we repeat the sentence which we listened, we should be naturally repeating that one. We should not simply focus on just reading it like a robot or repeating it like a robot. No, that's not scoring high. So 30% of the score inside the listen and repeat belongs to fluency. The next 30% is, again, part of intonation. Intonation is really, really important here. Intonation simply refers to the natural sentence melody. Melody is that up and down sounds that we have inside the sentence, that rhythm that is inside the sentence. Appropriate pitch patterns. Pitch is, again, how falling your intonation is and how rising your intonation is. Which words should rise and which words should fall. So that's the pitch pattern. So we have specific patterns for every sentence. For example, if it is a specific statement, we have one type of pattern. Especially, so statements, again, will depend on which word you emphasize. So that's important. If it is WH questions, usually the higher pitch or the rising intonation will be at the beginning of the sentence. If it is the yes/no questions, for example, if it is yes/no question, we will have the rising intonation at the end of the sentence. So these are the pitch patterns, the intonation patterns that will be determined in our repetition of the sentence. So we have to take care of them, and it is part of your score, the intonation score. How correctly the emphasis on the correct word is given when we are emphasizing on one word. So is it accurately pronounced or not? Questions, statements, patterns. So I have mentioned if it is a WH word question, so usually the intonation, the rising intonation, will be at the beginning of the sentence. For example, when you ask someone what is your name, so you don't say what is your name. So it doesn't have intonation. Instead, when you speak naturally, you may ask, what's your name? So here, the intonation or the rising intonation is at the beginning of the sentence. Similarly, if you have yes/no questions, again, we'll have the rising intonation at the end of the sentence. Falling intonation will be at the beginning. So the intonation pattern is another important part of this course we have. So now let's get into some tips for success in order to answer this and practice for this one accurately. The first one is we have to focus on that audio which we are listening. So during the playback, okay, give 100% attention to the audio and don't let your mind wander even for one moment. Don't do that. Okay, so try to focus your attention 100% to the audio. Do not kind of mesmerize yourself and think about other things while you're on the test. Don't do that. Okay, so that's the first thing, the first key to success, because here the sentences would be without preparation time to take notes. So we don't have any preparation time for this task. That's why we have to pay attention carefully to the audio. And then when we repeat, we can use our mind to get it right. So don't let your mind wander even for one moment. So don't do that. The next thing is don't overthink. Okay. When I say overthink, it means that when you listen to that one, so don't think a lot about what was the sentence or which word is missing or which word you didn't get. Don't think a lot, okay? Or don't think too much on how to say the sentence or how to pronounce the sentence. Because if you do that, you're not only missing the time, but also it creates hesitation. Okay, so trust your ears and repeat naturally exactly as it is said. Try your best exactly to what is said. Okay, so hesitation hurts your fluency score. So don't hesitate which preposition was missed or which article is not included in my response. So pay attention first of all, then do your best, trust your ears, and repeat exactly what it says. That's the next thing. So don't overthink. Next is speak clearly. Here, as I already stated, it's part of the pace. When we repeat the sentence, try to not rush, okay? Maintain clarity. Be clear when you speak. If it is not intelligible, so again, it hurts your score. Got it? So maintain clarity, don't rush, and speak naturally or repeat naturally the way it is. Okay. So it is better to be slightly slower with perfect pronunciation than fast with errors, okay? If you speak too fast with lots of errors, it is worse than the one you speak slower with a good pronunciation. So slower with a good pronunciation, perfect pronunciation, is better than the one you speak too fast but with errors. So speak clearly. Clarity is a key point. Then mimic intonation. Mimic intonation simply means you have to copy the rhythm of the sentence which is said. When you listen, try to focus on which part of the sentence is with higher intonation, which part of the sentence is pronounced with rising or falling intonation, right? So then you can mimic, you can exactly copy the melody, the sound of what you heard. Okay, so it's really crucial for having a high score. Intonation of exactly mimicking or telling the exact intonation. And the next thing is, in order to achieve all these things, the great thing is practice every day. Practicing daily will help you a lot. So here are some practice resources to help you work during the day. The first thing is, if you're using iPhone, so a Spotify podcast would be great, okay? Again, it's kind of shadowing. Shadowing is a great technique. Again, we have types of shadowing, immediate shadowing. So we may have the long, or it is called delayed shadowing. So immediate shadowing is the best practice. While you are listening to the podcast during the day, you can have a delayed first. For example, first you listen to the sentence, then pause the video or the podcast, then repeat it. Again, you listen one sentence or two sentences, then pause it, then repeat it. It's what we have as shadowing. You're trying to exactly copy what the listening says. So you can do this one. It's shadowing. Shadowing is a really effective skill in order to boost up your score in the listen and repeat task of the TOEFL IBT. So shadowing is important. And you can use Spotify podcasts. So listen to English podcasts daily, pause and repeat the sentences, focus on pronunciation and rhythm patterns, how the sentence is pronounced. YouTube with subtitles, it's again a great source, okay? While you're watching a specific video, so try to turn on the subtitle as well, okay? The subtitle helps you to find out which word is used, or which word does the speaker use to convey an idea. So YouTube with subtitles would be great to watch and then repeat. Okay, so do the shadowing practice. TED Talks with subtitles, again, since they're native speakers usually, they're great sources of shadowing. Okay, so it helps build a strong memory and repetition skill. So these are the best resources we can have in order to practice the daily the listen and repeat task on the TOEFL IBT. Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, videos with subtitles, TED Talks. We have actually other videos, other resources as well, but these are the best ones. We can have other podcasts. If you're feeling free to have other podcasts like NPR, like the TED radio station. So we may have other podcasts as well. So the one that you feel relaxed, you can use that one and practice, listen and repeat. Then I have written this one in order to help you focus on a schedule in order to do this practice. Okay. Usually, if you're working deeply on the task, so for morning, just around 3 minutes. So listen to a podcast while you're commuting, for example. Repeat 3 to 4 or 5 sentences aloud and focus on pronunciation. Okay. For example, while you're on the way, while you're somehow at home. So you can do it anytime, right? You listen to a specific podcast, then repeat it, okay? And when you repeat, don't repeat it simply just what we have as murmuring in your own mouth. Don't do that one. Try to read aloud, repeat it aloud, because that is what the test is asking. In the afternoon, again, you can go on to TED Talks or YouTube videos. Try to focus on new vocabulary, practice repeating complex sentences until they sound natural to you. In the evening, you can do that one. You can record yourself reading academic passages. Again, it is really helpful with your pronunciation. When you read aloud, it somehow shows how you pronounce the sentences, how you connect the words inside the sentence, how the transitions work, how sentence A connects to sentence B, and how you pronounce the chunks of words inside the sentence. Okay, groups of words. And again, here, it's really important to focus on pronunciation. The weekly, it would be around 30 minutes. So complete one full speaking practice test, and then you can review scores and analyze patterns in your mistakes. So it is a daily practice routine where we can go ahead with it. So the next part is interview task. Before going into how to answer interview task, let's dive into